Hey, welcome to the Q Reyes Project. I am Q Reyes, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole Cosby situation. I did a podcast a few days ago, and so people have been upset because they said that I was defending Bill Cosby, and that's not what I was doing in the podcast. But before, I want to give a shout out to Los Tomateros de Culiacán. If you don't know about, Mexican baseball, they just won the championship there. That's a side note. Let's get back on track to talk about really what's going on with Bill Cosby. And what I don't want to talk about is like the rape. Maybe it happened. Let's say he raped everybody. Then that's fine. I'm talking about why this second. Why now? Why? I know, people are saying, well, women were afraid to come out. Some women were paid off. He had a lot of power, so he made a lot of the cases go away. And those are all valid arguments. Then if that's the case, why now? Still, the question stands. Like, why now? I'm sure, he's made a lot of enemies in his career. And why someone wouldn't want to take him down or wasn't able to take him down before, it doesn't make sense. And now at the end of his career, everyone is coming out saying that this happened to them. Now, I also want to go a little deeper and talk about the situation that put a lot of the women in the situation. And I'm someone that I have my mother, my sister, I have nieces. Like actually, most of my family are female, so I would never want them to be in a position where this could happen to them, as far as the victims are concerned. Yet, I will also encourage them not to go into someone's hotel room at 1 a.m. and have a drink, because that's already putting yourself in that position that something may happen, especially if it's somebody famous that's used to, having women and all of this. For my family, what I would give them the advice is like, if a guy, a male, older male, takes you somewhere where it's just you and him, and he offers you a drink, and once you have that drink, I think what happens is this: the drink breaks the professional from the beyond professional. This is more like a personal level. And once you have that drink where so you're having a drink with someone, it could still be business, but it's not business as usual, obviously, especially if you're in a hotel room and you're a pretty young lady and you are with this older man, and you gotta know what the intentions are. It's kind of like rock stars, all these rock bands that were coming up, they made famous taking all these girls after the shows into the hotel room and get intoxicated and do drugs and pass out, and that's what they did after every show. And if you were a girl coming up and you went with the rock band afterwards to the after party in the hotel room, most likely you were going to be put in a situation where there was going to be drinking, drugs, there was going to be sexual encounters. Now, I'm not saying that the women didn't deserve respect or whatever it is. That's not the case. I'm saying, where are the parents of the victims that they were so young at the time? Why were they not told, look, older men are perverts, okay? And when you go with an older man somewhere, he might try to take advantage of you. You don't even need drugs. I mean, you could just talk them into doing things. And a lot of the victims willingly at the time, it wasn't a gun to the head. A lot of them, they did participate. And to now come back and say that, oh, he told me he was going to mentor me and give me a shot at being an actress, and that's why I gave him a hand job, then, there's a lack of judgment there. And we all make mistakes. We all done a lot of things that we regret. And, when we're younger, you think you know it all, you end up being stupid. So, there's nothing wrong with making a mistake, you know. And if Bill Cosby made you put his hand on your penis, if he didn't force you, if he didn't physically just grab your hand and say, "No, you're gonna do it," then you were a willing participant. Even if you don't like it, even if it's something that you feel now regretful, you know, we all have regrets. You know, things you've done. You know, there's been, you know, I have regrets. You know, and it's like right afterwards, you know, after you make that mistake, you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But you know, you can't come back later and accuse somebody of anything, because at the time you were a willing participant. You put yourself in that situation. You know, anytime you go with a married man into a hotel room or a place where it's just you and him, and there's alcohol, he's giving you the signal. You know, especially in those days when Cosby was doing all of these crazy things. Those days, it wasn't like it's now where you gotta say yes means yes, and it wasn't that way. It was implied that if you came to my hotel room and you were gonna have a drink with me, then it was implied that, you know, something may develop, something may happen. The thing as well is that obviously the roofie thing, that's just taking it too far. You know, because, you know, and I'm blaming Bill on this. It's more, you know, you're Bill Cosby. You don't need the roofies, you know. And if the girl's not interested, there's hundreds of other ones all around the world that might be interested. So that's something on a personal level. That's really the sick part of it all, you know, the roofie part. But as far as the situation, you know, of course he's gonna say, "Hey, I'm Bill Cosby. Come to my room." Because, you know, a big percentage of guys, given the opportunity to be famous and have money, you play that card. That's the easiest card to play. Why would you need to go through all the hurdles of a normal, average guy having to take a girl out to dinner and romanticize her, when you could just say, "Hey, I'm Bill Cosby. Put your hand on my penis. Come over here." There you go. You know, so you can't blame him for using his power to get sex. I mean, he's not the only one. It happens every day in every industry, not just Hollywood. CEOs and people in power always use their power to get what they want. Now, that's a whole other subject. Whether it's wrong or right, that doesn't matter. I'm just saying that's part of the culture. So you can't now blame one man for doing what a lot of men have done forever. If you want to change it, that's different. We're not talking about that. We're talking about whether Bill is solely responsible for everything that's going on. Another part of it is, you know, I believe there's going to be some victims that, you know, the roofie happened and the drugs and all of that. But I also believe that you can't believe everything. So not a big percentage or a percentage, let's not say big or small, of the women coming out might just be looking for that opportunity. I'm not saying all of them. Maybe most of them have their own legit beef. But there's going to be that one or two like that are going to say, well, this is my opportunity to get some limelight. Maybe I get a little bit of money out of this. It's a possibility. And if you would say that that's not possible, that some of these women might take the opportunity that Bill Cosby is some kind of hole and try to take advantage. If you don't see that there's an opportunity there and that some people will take advantage of it, then that's a whole nother issue. Then you need to really look at the reality of the situation. So when I talk about the timing of it all, I'm not debating whether these rape allegations took place or not. I'm debating, like, why now? You know, you got to understand the media and the way that news get out. It's a process. You couldn't just make news. There has to be a consensus of what's important, and that's what you're shown. So there's news happening all the time. There's people being killed all the time. There's kidnappings. There's countries at war. There's a lot of things going on. But what you see is very limited to what a few people think is important. And for those few people to decide that the Bill Cosby allegations are important now, yet ignores so many other allegations that happen all the time. That to me, that's not fair. Ebola was a hot news topic. Where is that now? That's gone. That's old news. So I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm not debating whether Bill Cosby is guilty or not. I'm debating the timing of the allegations getting so much publicity right now at this point. And I don't know. I'm putting it out because I don't understand why now. And I know, there's been things coming in and out throughout the years about the Cosby allegations. So why the news never picked it up then when they were coming out? And maybe the women would have come out sooner. Maybe the cops could have got involved and investigated, and the statute of limitations would have still been active, and you could have, prosecute the case. Why not, back then? So, in my theory, he either pissed somebody off, and they're like, okay, that's the way you want to play. Here you go. We're going to take you down. And two, he never had self-control. So he put himself in that situation, yet someone let him live this long without having to face the consequences. So now the consequences were almost like they were being held as a card. And as soon as whatever happened, they're like, here you go. We're pulling out your card. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents about the whole Cosby situation. And it's unfortunate that there are people that are being hurt by it. And again, I'm not saying that he's guilty or not guilty. And most likely, my opinion, personally, I think he did it. Whether he did it that much, who's to say? I mean, at this point, he's not talking, so we really don't know his side of the story. But the side of the story that's coming out from the other end makes sense. And at the same time, I blame a lot of the parents from these victims that let them go with Bill Cosby in a hotel room or go out with their mentor. It's kind of like, the same thing with the kids and Michael Jackson. It's like, well, if you're a parent and you letting Michael Jackson go on a slumber party with your kid, you got to take the responsibility for that. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not the kid's fault. Like I said, it's not the victim's fault, but it's the parents, or whoever brought them up should have, told them better. Like, look, don't talk to strangers and don't go with grown men in hotel rooms and have drinks. It's not their fault. Like I said, it's not their fault, but somebody should have guided a lot of the victims in the right direction. As well as, hopefully we start a chat about it and start telling our younger girls and so on to be careful, because there's people out there trying to take advantage of them. And it's not just Bill Cosby, they're all over the place. So you just got to educate your own family and your own kids, and hopefully they make the right decisions when the time comes. Just wanted to give my 2 cents again. And I hope that you subscribe and you subscribe to my podcast. Make sure you follow me on Twitter @QReyes and find me on Facebook. And until next time, we're probably going to be talking about whatever the media decides is important for us to know at the time. So that's just the way that it goes. And we can either complain or just go with the flow. All right, so till next time, peace.